Hey folks, David Stewart here. This is it. This is the real Hello Kitty guitar. Some of you may have seen some viral videos with, like, John Pertucci or someone playing some music on Hello Kitty guitar, and it's like a it's like a plastic toy. This is the real thing. It's actually made by Fender. It is a Squier Strat. Let's see if you can actually see that. We'll get it nice and close there. Squier Strat. Which means it's made overseas, but it's actually a unique model, and it is a real guitar. As you can tell, it actually doesn't sound too bad, and I thought I'd show it to you and show you a couple of little things with the guitar, and let you hear just what it can do. So first of all, it is a Squier Strat, and so it has a Strat body, but it's actually quite unique among the Squiers because, as you'll notice, the pickguard in the shape of this beautiful Sanrio Hello Kitty right here is completely unique. So it doesn't have any holes for any other kind of random pickguard. It doesn't have the knobs put in the pickguard. In fact, there's a control port routed out on the back for you to access that single potentiometer. It's got a fixed bridge, not a floating tremolo, and it has string through, so you put the strings in the back, which is a nice feature if you don't care about a floating trem. It does say Hello Kitty on the back. This is an official product. It has a single pickup, and I don't know exactly what variety it is. It's one of Fender's humbucking pickups, and it has a single volume knob right here. Maple neck with the skunk stripe on the back, as you can see, which is what I prefer rather than a maple cap. I like it to be all one piece of maple, and then we put the truss rod in the middle with the skunk stripe, and it's got standard tuners. So it's a pretty standard Squier guitar. Here's some things that I like about it, besides obviously the amazing Hello Kitty aesthetics here, is it's actually a pretty decent little Squier guitar, especially if you want a setup that is really, really stripped down, which is exactly what this is. I think this actually sounds very good for, playing stuff like, rock or metal. It has a really, really good, bright, open sound for playing any of that kind of stuff that you want to play. Right? So it's got a really good tone on it for its one single pickup. And if all you care about is that bridge sound for playing rhythm guitar, you don't really need anything else. Now, there's a virtue here too with that single volume pot. Whenever you add potentiometers, which are pots, basically the way a pot works is as you turn it down, it slowly shorts out the signal. So as you add these, you tend to roll off the high end a little bit. So just by virtue of having a tone pot, you are going to have a darker sounding guitar. So if you have a cheaper pickup, which this is not, I don't think it's a great pickup. If I were going to swap it out, I'd probably put something kind of hot in it, like a Tone Zone or maybe a DiMarzio Evolution, which is what I usually use on my other guitars, including guitars that don't have tone pots in them, which I have several guitars with no tone pots. The virtue of the known tone pot is it comes out really, really bright. And as you turn down the volume, you actually get a little bit of a tone roll off with the volume as well. So one of the things you could do too if you wanted to mod a guitar like this, besides putting in a hotter pickup that's more to your liking, is you can put in a bigger pot. I believe this pot is a 250 ohm pot. You could put in a 1 mega ohm pot, so the first about 3 or 4 ticks, this doesn't really tick, but the first little bit of your volume pot will actually just roll off the tone and not really roll off the volume. This one really does function as a good volume pot, but you can hopefully tell it does darken up quite a bit as you roll off the volume. The volume pot also works really good if if you're playing on a fairly fairly dirty channel, you can roll off the pot a little bit and get a little bit cleaner sound for if you want to have those thirds come out and be nice and clean. If you want like nice clean thirds with a lot of distortion, just rolling off that volume pot will do. Otherwise, a nice heavy thuddy sound when you turn it all the way up. And so it sounds actually really good in a lot of different applications. I know that, for instance, Chuck Schuldiner, may he rest in peace, of Death, always played with one volume pot, and usually pretty often played with a guitar with just the bridge pickup. And there's a number of punk artists that play with just the bridge pickup. They either take the neck pickup out or just leave it empty, or have a guitar like this that just has that one bridge pickup. So if you're looking to do stuff that's really tightly focused on rhythm guitar or metal, this might be a good choice. Now, the limiting factor on this is having no neck pickup. To me, really, you have one tonal choice on your guitar, and so when you go to play like lead guitar or something, it tends to be a little too bright unless you have a channel that's set up specifically for lead guitar. It has a really bright attack. It has a little bit too bright. Not too bad for something like tap picking. But for regular lead guitar stuff, you really do want that neck pickup because it rolls off a lot of the tone. It smooths everything out quite a bit. But if you have like a channel, this one's a little bit darker. You can kind of overcome that if you have an extra channel there. Kind of overcome that if you have a little bit of a darker channel, but that is one thing that is a little bit limiting on it. But for tracking rhythm guitar, I think it actually works really good because it has that string through setup. It's actually quite stable with the tuning, despite the fact that we don't have great tuners. Just having a fixed bridge, and it's a pretty cheap bridge. It looks very shiny and chrome, but this is standard Squier stuff. It's pretty cheap. I might actually switch those out for something like nickel saddles if I were going to like mod this guitar out. But it works, and so even though the parts on it are fairly cheap because of the setup, because of the fixed bridge, the string through, the maple neck, which is very, very stable and bright, you actually end up with a really good player's guitar. There's, like a lot of Squiers, it's missing a couple of finishing touches. The edge of the frets here are a little bit rough. If you know what you're doing, you can clean them up. But for most of you, it's going to feel a little bit scratchy some places. So you can actually clean those up if you wanted to, but that's the way a lot of these Squiers happen to come. I left the plastic on the Hello Kitty, by the way. I don't know, just because it came new that way. And having the input on the bottom corner rather than on the top, like a standard Fender, means you can use an angle plug as well. So that's more options in general if you like to use guitars that have that on the bottom. Have an angle plug rather than having this kind of top-loaded plug like what you get with the standard Strat. So anyway, I thought I'd show this fun little guitar to you guys and just let you hear what's going on with this guitar. I'm not really playing anything with it, just kind of noodling about. So let me know what you think about the real Hello Kitty guitar, which is actually not a bad guitar at all. Let me know down in the comments section what you think about this thing, and I'll see you guys next time. Pinch harmonics sound pretty good too. Let me get that sound. See you guys next time.